Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here today with Bruce McCurdy. Welcome, Bruce.
Hey, David. How are you doing?
Good. Another Oilers loss, 3-1 to the mighty Detroit Red Wings in a game that the Oilers were not really in until the last 7 minutes. Detroit soundly outplayed them. After the first two periods, Bruce, the Grady scoring chances were 11-5 for Detroit. They ended up 13-9 because the Oilers had a bit of a spurt at the end. But this was another weak effort from the Oilers. But I'm actually not personally focused on effort. I'm focused on the skill and speed of this team. I just think it's still lacking in a couple key spots. They've fixed a few things, Bruce, but that's going to be my theme tonight. So we'll do our two good things, two bad things, and two numbers podcast. What is your good thing?
Well, it seems inappropriate to start with a good thing off of that game, but since that's our usual order of business, I guess we'll have to do it. I like the one new line featuring Ryan Nugent-Hopkins between Jujhar Khaira and Sam Gagner. I thought they had some chemistry. I thought they had a lot of possession, and certainly the flow place charts show that. Shot attempts with Nuge on the ice, 18-4, 4 against. Gagner, 19-5. Khaira, 16-4. Like, they were dominating the possession time. And among the three of them, they had 11 shots, 6 by Nuge, 3 by Khaira, 2 by Gagner, and some pretty decent looks. So Dave Tippett's attempt to breathe new light into the bottom nine had at least a flicker of a flame on one of the three lines, and that would be the one featuring Nuge.
I didn't mind that Haas line either, actually. I don't know what their numbers are like on shots, but I thought Haas looked good, fast out there.
Pretty good. 7-2 in shot attempts for Haas. And it was the first line that got smoked. And, yeah.
Yeah, the first line was exposed by my good thing. And usually I pick an Oiler good thing, but tonight I was just so impressed with the speed of Larkin and what's his name? Athanasio? Is that correct?
Yeah.
That guy is fast, and Larkin is fast. They just Ethan Bear is going to be having some nightmares about that.
Yeah, I'm afraid he is.
But you let those guys wind it up like that. How many defensemen in the NHL are going to keep that player in front of him with no one getting on him through the neutral zone at all?
Yeah.
So that's what impressed me, Bruce. And again, this goes back to my thing. I don't think the Oilers, the effort's kind of a variable with teams. It's going to be there some nights and not. I don't think the Oilers are not a hardworking team. I think they're at least league average under Tippett right now for hardworkingness. But I think for speed and skill, they're still below league average overall, because the first line and the top line players just don't make up for the number of AHL level players right now who are in the bottom six and in the bottom pairing defense.
Yeah, well, it's hard to argue.
What's your bad thing?
Bad thing has to go to the start of the game again. And to me, this is appalling. And as a fan, I find it unacceptable that a team would come out and play so poorly in the first period after a game in which they played so poorly previously, that they're not ready for the start of the game, and yet the Oilers weren't even close to ready for the start of this game. Detroit had a wide-open 2-on-1 15 seconds into the first period. This is against our Edmonton's dedicated checking line. Well, it's certainly not a scoring line with Riley Sheahan and company. And they got burned for a 2-on-1, like right off the bat. They spent the whole rest of the first minute chasing the puck around in their own zone while Detroit created all kinds of chaos, and Darnell Nurse nearly had to grab the puck in the crease to keep him from scoring. It was just chaos from the outset. Then the first line came out, And they spend the second minute completely pinned in their own end, not able to win any puck battles, never able to get a hold of the puck and move it out. And they spent the whole first period basically on their heels. They were outshot 13-5. Uh, they got a penalty and uh, lost the face-off, spent the short power play chasing the puck around and eventually fishing it out of their net. And then, like has happened in every game lately, every single game, David, last 4 games in a row, when the Oilers give up the first goal, they give up the second goal within 90 seconds later. Tonight it was 52 seconds. And what went from a 1-0, well, we're a little bit behind, we're going to have to fight back, came this 2-0 crater that they were never able to pull their way out of for the entire rest of the game. And that's just lack of bloody attention to detail. And like I say, to this fan, it's just unacceptable that the team can't pay a little bit more attention to, little details like, when does the game start? How about being ready for that time? Not good enough.
And I can't argue with you, Bruce.
That's not speed and skill. That is focus. And right now, this team has very little of that.
How many 2-on-1s did the Oilers
give up?
2? I don't think they've given up more uneven man rushes all year long. Mm-hmm. And maybe they're trying too hard. Maybe these bottom line players are trying too hard to create some offense and they're starting to take chances. I don't know. But like Detroit, fortunately, was unable to connect on a lot of passes and shots in those situations. They missed the net a ton of times and missed their passes a few times.
Well, the second period, the Sheahan line didn't start the period because the Oilers started with some power play time, but they came out next. And they gave up a 3-on-2 from center ice in because all 3 of the forwards got trapped deep in Detroit territory. All 3 of the 0-goal forwards got trapped cheating for offense. That play didn't connect. The puck went down the other end, and the same 3 guys got trapped in another wide open 3-on-2 from center ice in. Like the same 3 checking line forwards gave up a 3-on-2 from center in where there wasn't an Oiler forward in the frame, let alone anywhere around the puck.
That's exactly the sequence I was thinking of. And twice, first Bertuzzi missed the net, and the second time I think he squandered his pass, like he didn't connect.
Yeah, I mean they didn't connect, but not for want of opportunity. And wide open.
Neil blocked one with his stick, a 2-on-1, and then I think Russell got one with his stick, a 2-on-1. So there was just all kinds of them all game long. And
Koskinen got a few.
Koskinen played pretty well, actually. I mean, I didn't love either of the goals on a certain level, but I couldn't really blame him on either of the goals either. I mean, the first one, Sheahan tried to make a play right at the blue line to get the puck out, and after that, the Oilers were kind of very wide open in their zone, so that shooter down low had all kinds of time to make the play. Now, maybe Koskinen could have been more aggressive on him. And then the second one, Bear completely screened, I thought, Koskinen. Like it was it was a hell of a shot by someone you don't expect to make a hell of a shot, that Detroit defenseman, Nemeth. But it was a hell of a shot to the top corner. But Koskinen might have had it. But
after all 3 forwards got caught off on the other side of the ice and then coughed the puck up, and one pass over, and Nemeth is able to walk right into the top of the face-off circle and step into it. Bear is left trying to cover one guy in front and the guy with the puck, and he winds up doing the wrong thing and screening the goalie. But Bear was kind of the last part of the sequence of pain. That was a nasty one. Neil and Chason messed up the pass out, and Haas was in the middle of nowhere instead of sort of covering a zone. He was out to lunch, so it was just not a pretty play.
Yeah,
not a pretty.
That was Exhibit A.
That was the game winner.
Yeah, that was Exhibit A, Bruce, and them not being ready. That Neil, that was a kind of lack of sharpness. Neil not getting it onto Chason stick, like kind of blankly putting up the boards. And there was an earlier
looking for the pass.
Chason not looking for the pass. You might blame him too.
Yep.
There was an earlier play where Draisaitl tried to hit Russell coming into the slot, and that ended up with a grade A chance for Detroit because Russell couldn't quite reach it, and then Manning was up too high, and I think was that a breakaway? It was a nasty chance. I think that was a breakaway. So
yeah, they had like 3 breakaways at least, and all these 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s, and precious little in the way of defensive awareness from the forwards in particular. Compared to Detroit's forwards, who were checking like demons and covering the neutral zone and swarming around the slot and getting their sticks in the lane and deflecting passes and getting in the way of shots all game long. And, it really kind of stood out to me. Detroit apparently needed this game more than Edmonton did.
So my bad thing, I've listed all kinds of them. I've kind of run out of bad things, Bruce. I don't know what to say anymore about. I really do think they need an injection of talent, and I think I've seen. I'll just go with the two players that I think I didn't. Jujhar Khaira I didn't see particularly well tonight again. Like I know that that line clicked a bit. Maybe he was part of it, but I just don't see. What did he get? 3 goals last year.
Mm-hmm.
What is he, -6 or 7 already this year?
-7.
Yeah. And Thomas Yurcho has done pretty much nothing in the regular season, and it's time for him to. Both those players, I think I would be fine with it if they were sent to the AHL tomorrow or put in the press box. And I think Cooper Marody hasn't been fantastic at the AHL this year, but he was fantastic last year, and he got a couple goals I think last game. I think he's ready, and maybe Yamamoto as well. If Gambardella was healthy, I would bring up Gambardella, but I don't. I think he's hurt. So Cooper Marody, they need some more skill in the lineup, and Marody has that. Mm-hmm. And I would bring him up, and I might bring up Yamamoto. Has been their best forward this year. I've watched not all the games, but I think 5 of them or 4 or 5 of them, and he is playing at a different level than I've ever seen him play before at the pro level. Way more confident, and I'd like to see.
Well, I'll say this about Kailer Yamamoto: tread with care. And the reason I say that is that 2 years ago he started the season in the NHL and they demoted him back to junior. Last year he started the season in the NHL and they demoted him down to the AHL. This year he started the season in the AHL, which is the right league for him. But I'm thinking you want to call this guy up exactly once in the entire rest of his career, and when you do, it's for keeps. Because you call him up and you put him back on the yo-yo, man, you're messing with that kid. And so I'm saying get it right. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Well, it depends on what conditions are. You could say, listen, Joachim Nygard, we need some attacking help for a couple of weeks, Kyler. We have Joachim Nygard coming back to the lineup. When Joachim Nygard comes back to the lineup, you'll be going back down. But we need you for 2 weeks to come up here and give us a little boost. How does that sound, kid? You want to do that? Would that mess you up? How does that mess you up?
If he comes up and he knocks it out of the park, great.
Well, then
if he comes up and he doesn't knock it out of the park and he gets sent back down, he's on the yo-yo. I'm just thinking in terms of the curve. I want his next recall to be the one that's permanent.
I'm not as strict about that. I mean, he's a 21-year-old forward who's doing well. He did okay at the AHL level last year. He started off strong. I don't feel as strongly about that as with forwards as I do with defensemen. The defensemen I do think have much more of a danger of having their confidence crushed because they start to leak goals against and really get blamed, and it's horrible at the NHL level. Doesn't happen so much with wingers. So if they were to do it, I wouldn't criticize them. I think you need to think about the right message, because I do think when Nygard comes back, he's a very similar kind of attacking player, and I really liked him. So, but he's
Oilers missed that guy, I think.
What's that, Bruce?
Oilers missed that guy, I think. Joachim Nygard.
That kind of player, that kind of speedy winger. And again, I think they have it. And I don't know what you thought of Haas, but I liked him. He's fast out there. He gets around and he makes good plays with the puck. I want to see more of him. I think he can play. He's impressed. Hasn't done much, but he's not had a lot of ice time yet. So I'd like to see him for 5 games, 6 games.
There's a lot of other candidates for the press box tomorrow night. Let's put it that way.
There is no shortage. That is the truth. What is your number?
My number is 1 minute and 16 seconds and 1 minute and 14 seconds, which are the average shift lengths for Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid tonight.
Yeah.
They each played, 21 shifts each, but 26:09 for McDavid, 26:43 for Draisaitl, and just lots of shifts where they were out. And some of them are power play. Sure, you got a 90-second shift here and there, but that, as an average shift goes, that just jumps off the page. Like anything over a minute is unusual, and a minute and a quarter is almost off the charts. And it's because they know when they go back to the bench and sit down, the Oilers aren't going to score for the next 4 minutes, right?
And to give them credit, I think, if I'm not mistaken, when Draisaitl did score, had he not been out there forever by then?
Yeah, I think for a good long while, yeah.
I think that might have been his longest shift of the game. I could be wrong, but that's my memory of it. So yeah, and I think you're right. Like that's the thought. Like if we get off, it's McDavid, Draisaitl, or bust.
Yeah, well, here, hang on. I'll just give you a quick summary of. I'll just look at Leon in the third period.
So that was at 7:14, 13 minutes in.
1:14, the shift before the goal. 1:44, the shift before that. 2:23, the shift after that. Like his last 5 shifts of the game were all a minute and 9 or longer. And mind you, at that time, obviously they're pushing hard for the late comeback, but there's not much time to.
What was the shift on the goal?
1:14 only.
The shift after that was a power play shift.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was. They drew the penalty, and then they got it was a 4-on-4. Then Leon drew the penalty, so then they had the 4-on-3, and he stayed up for the whole power play. So
the funny
there's some of that, but still.
Funny thing is, Bruce, if they had scored on that power play and Nugent Hopkins came so close to scoring on that power play. Like this could have been another one of the Oilers' kind of wins that they didn't deserve. The Oilers' 8-5 record flatters the team still. And they're probably more like a 7-8, 8-7 team. I think. Well, that was probably too many games, eh? So have to.
Yeah, well, Cassian came really close in the late going also. But yeah, Leon had 14 shifts over a minute and 3 shifts over 2 minutes.
Yeah. Wow.
So then you wonder at the end of the game
why he's got no juice.
They shoot the puck into the zone and there's nobody there to go after the darn thing because they're all sucking wind.
Yes. Okay. My number is 1, and this is the number of grade A scoring chance shots by the bottom rung players on the Oilers. It was Kara who did get it on a rebound shot. So good for Jujhar Kara.
He dribbled in to the
goaltender. He kind of dribbled it in.
He was in the right place and he did get his stick on it, but he didn't get much mustard on it.
He didn't. But that was the only one we saw from that group of players, and it's getting, it's getting into that. Like, how we were going wow about Tobias Reeder last year? It's almost like we're going wow about this whole group of forwards this year. James Neal has made up for a lot of it with his kind of unreal scoring, but that's drying up a little bit here. So good luck tomorrow night in Columbus.
They're just not generating any shots, David.
They're not, Bruce.
My pregame thing today, I pointed out that the outside of James Neal, the other 9 forwards that Ken Holland brought in or extended this summer that are on the team this year played a combined 80 games, basically a full NHL season worth of games, and had 78 shots. Less than 1 shot a game for 9 players.
And how many goals?
1.
The Nygaard goal.
The Nygaard goal.
It'll be a legendary thing, the Nygaard. They'll be worshiping the Nygaard. Some people have forgotten the Nygaard, though, Bruce. It
was scored 4-on-4, so it kind of disappears from some of the 5-on-5 splits that you see.
Yes.
Because it was a 4-on-4 play where Haas beat his guy off the face-off circle, danced behind him, fed Nygaard, and it was in the net about right off the face-off. Kind of a slick play, but a lonely one in terms of bottom line players getting actual results.
I remember the Nygaard, and I honor the Nygaard. So that's probably why I'm hoping for Nygaard to come back so much, because it's firmly rooted in my head. All right, you're doing game grades?
I am.
Okay, all right. Maybe not a lot to say about.
My temptation is to dock the entire team -1 for their failure to show up at the beginning of the game.
We'll do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking I will do it. Consecutive games, there's just no excuse for it.
Yeah. All righty. Well, I'll let you get at it. Thanks for talking tonight, Bruce.
All right, thanks for listening, everyone. See you tomorrow.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.